The pit. The hedges are trimmed, weeds are pulled, and all the debris is bagged up and ready to go to the dump. I'm pulling the bags up to the van when a haggard-looking man comes walking towards me from across the street. He'd been watching me work from across the street for the past few hours, making me uncomfortable the entire time. I wave hello. Hopefully, he just needs a gardener. Working hard? He asks. Hard enough, I reply, but I'm basically finished here. Is there something I can help you with? Yeah, I wanted to ask, is that all compost in those bags? He'd been watching me for hours. He should know exactly what it is. Sure is. Are you just gonna throw it away? That's the plan. I don't know why, but he seemed like he was anxious. He looked more disheveled than me, and I was drenched in sweat and covered in dirt from gardening all day. His eyes fixated on those compost bags like they were full of treasure. Can I have it? He asks. If you're just going to throw it away? Sure, saves me a trip to the dump. Well, you can have the compost, but I need the bags. He grins a wild grin. Thank you so much. You're a lifesaver, pal. It's just garden clippings. I'm the gardener, and even I would never be excited about garden clippings. Perhaps he just wants it for mulch. What do you need it for anyways? I ask. Follow me, I'll show ya. He lifts one of the bags with both arms and turns towards his house. I heave a bag over my shoulder and follow. We walk to the side of the house. He opens the door in the fence leading to the backyard. At first glance, I can already see that yard is a disaster. The shrubs lining the fence are all overgrown and unkempt. Every one of them is covered in vines. He could definitely use a garden. We walk to the middle of the yard, and he sets the bag down next to what looks like a sinkhole the size of a small pond. This is it, he declares, the pit in all its glory. He swings the bag and pours the contents in. Branches and weeds fall to the bottom. I follow suit and pour my bag in. It's going to take a lot more than that to fill it in, I say. Yeah, I've been at it for a while. Just gonna take some time. Why don't you just order some soil to fill it in? He shrugs. Twigs and leaves work just fine. Clearly not from the looks of it, but I'm not going to argue with him. By the way, when are you coming back out? He asks. Well, I only do Jacqueline's yard once a month. However, if you need any gardening work, you can give me a call, I say, pulling out a business card and handing it to him. He takes the card and inspects it. Cosmic Gardens, huh? Strange name. Yeah, I'll give you a call if I need anything. He says that, but if he's too cheap to pay for some dirt to fill in that sinkhole, then he's probably too cheap to hire a gardener. Still, it doesn't hurt to at least try to get another client. It shouldn't hurt anyways. We say our goodbyes. I hop in the van and head home. Days go by like ordinary. Work, eat, sleep, wake up, work, eat, sleep, and so on. Weeks pass, then one day I get a call from an unfamiliar number. I answer, hello, this is Cosmic Gardens. Hi, the voice on the other side responds. This is John. We met the other day. I didn't recognize the name. Guess I forgot to ask for it when we last talked, but I did recognize the sound of his frantic voice. Hey John, what can I do for you? If you need some work done, I can get you scheduled in for my next availability. Oh, I hadn't seen you in a while. I was wondering when you were coming back to Jacqueline. I should be back there on the 1st, as long as the weather allows. Oh, good. Do you think you could give me more of your garden clipping when you come back? I don't see why not. Thanks, Pat. I'll see you then. Click. Weird guy. He definitely doesn't sound like he's looking to hire me. Oh well, if it saves me a trip to the dump, then I don't mind giving him my debris. The 1st comes. It's shitstorming outside. I call Jacqueline and let her know that I'll have to reschedule because of the weather. She's unbothered. She knows that I'll be back over there as soon as the weather allows. A few days pass and the weather clears up. It's still muggy outside, but not so much so that I can't work. I gather up my tools and head over to Jacqueline's house. The storm must have been pretty violent. Tree branches and leaves litter the yard. Flowers are toppled over and looking sad. There's a lot to clean up. After a long day of cleaning up the garden and bagging all the leaf and branch litter from the yard, I'm finally finished, and just in time by the looks of it. The sun is already setting. There isn't a speck of sunlight left by the time I get all the compost bags hauled to the van. The moment I open the trunk to toss the bags in, John jumps out from the other side of the van. Where have you been? He asks. You weren't here the other day. He startled me, but I calm myself and reply, yeah, I had to reschedule because of that storm we had. Oh, I see, you should have told me. He sounds offended, but it's not like he's my client. There's no reason I have to tell him when I reschedule his neighbor. He's eyeing the compost bags again. Can I have those? He asks. Yeah, sure. There was something off about John. Even in the dark, he looked noticeably more haggard than the last time I saw him. His mere presence made me uncomfortable, but as much as I didn't want to be around him any longer, I wanted to haul this debris to the dump even less. John picks up a bag and rushes off in the direction of his yard. I pick up a bag and follow slowly behind. By the time I catch up to John, he'd already dumped the contents of his bag in the pit. I walk up to the edge of the pit and John races past me, presumably back to the pile of bags sitting by the van. I lean over the edge of the pit and peer into it. It's definitely gotten bigger. Leaves, debris, and dirty water swirl around slowly inside. It's not nearly as full as it was the last time I saw it. It must be growing faster than he's been filling it. But is it just going to keep growing? I watch, bewildered, as the leaves and muck swirl around inside. It's somewhat hypnotic, pulling my gaze. Something about it fills me with a sense of unease. It shouldn't be here, and I shouldn't be near it. Still, I can't help watching it with morbid curiosity. Don't get too close, John says as he runs up with another bag. You don't want to fall in. I snap back to my senses and pour my bag in, then walk back towards the van to grab another bag. John and I finish pouring the rest of the debris in the pit. Thanks again, John says. No problem, I reply. My gaze fixated on the swirling muck. What do you think made it appear? Can't say, John shrugs. I just want to fill it up so I can stop worrying about it. What if it just keeps getting bigger? Bigger? No, it's always been that size. Far as I can remember. I swear it looks bigger than the last time I saw it. No way, you're just seeing things, it's dark, you're tired, your eyes are just playing tricks on you. You'll see, we'll have it filled up before you know it. Yeah, I nod. I'm not going to argue with him. Well, it's pretty late, I better get going, see you next month. John doesn't reply. He's fixated on the pit, too focused to listen to whatever I had to say. I manage to pull my gaze away from the pit and turn around to walk back to the van. A few days later, I get a call. Hi, it's John. I was wondering if you could come out and do some work for me. Sure thing. What do you need done? Just some trimming. Cut back the hollies and hedges. You don't even gotta bag anything up. Just dump all the clippings in the pit. Sound good? Yeah, I can do that. So, when can you come out? Well, I'm booked up all this week and most of next. Soonest I can come is next Saturday. Does that work for you? You can't come sooner than that. I pull out my schedule book and glance over it. Unfortunately, being flexible with my schedule comes with the occupation. Wouldn't want to lose a job because I can't come out as soon someone wants me to. Suppose I can come out Tuesday, sometime afternoon. I do have another job that morning, but it shouldn't take that long. I can at least come over and get started after I'm done at their house. That sounds great. See you Tuesday. He hangs up before I can even say bye. Tuesday comes. I wake up early, throw my clothes on, gather my tools, and head out for my first job. It's just general maintenance and clean up, however. With all the damage from the storm the other day, there's a lot more to clean up there than usual. It ends up taking longer than expected. When I'm done, I gather my gear and get in the van. I try calling John to tell him I'm on the way. He doesn't answer, so I leave him a text. I'm really not looking forward to working a second job today. That's what I get for being accommodating. Oh well, I have to make a living somehow. I pull up to John's house and call him to let him know I'm there. No answer. I get out of the van, walk up to the doorway and ring the bell. No answer. Maybe the doorbell doesn't work. I try knocking just in case. Still no answer. Looking around, I notice that the gate to the backyard is open. He's probably back there. I walk over to the gate and peek through. John's back there. He's standing at the edge of the pit, staring in blankly. He doesn't notice. UFOs could be hovering overhead and he wouldn't notice. Hey, John, I shout, trying to catch his attention. Oh, hey, he replies. I didn't know when you were coming, so I got started without you. I walk through the gate and survey the yard. Not a thing looks like it's been trimmed or cut in ages. Whatever he meant by, got started without you, he couldn't have been referring to any gardening work of any kind. Anything you want me to prioritize? I ask. Nah, he replies, not looking up from the pit. Just trim up anything that looks like it needs trimming. He did mention hollies over the phone, so I start with those. They look nice enough when they're groomed, but they have these pointy leaves that poke in you like little needles whenever you have to trim them. I'm not a fan of hollies. Of course, the yard is surrounded by them. I start shaping one, trying to avoid getting poked with needle leaves, finish, and move on to the next. After I've done a few, John walks over to the holly I just finished trimming and inspects it. "You can cut M back more than that," he says. I look at him and look at the holly I just trimmed. Normally, I wouldn't argue with a client, but sometimes the client doesn't know what's best for their plants. "It'll look bald if I cut it back any more than that," I say. "That's fine. Don't worry about the plants. Just cut it back more. I need the clippings to feed the pit." "Feed?" I ask. "Fill the pit," he corrects himself. "All right, they're not gonna look pretty, but if that's what you want." I return to the holly I just finished and start cutting away at it even more. John returns to the pit to continue watching it. Once I've finished one, I move on to the next, then the next. I work fast, but it still takes hours to trim all the shrubs. The entire time I'm working, John just stares into the pit. I try not to think about him and just work. I try not to think about how I'm essentially butchering these plants. I try not to think about the pit, but the longer I'm there, the more thoughts of it creep in, until it's all I can think about. So far, I've managed to avoid to so much as look at it since I'd arrived, however. Now that all the vines are pulled and everything is trimmed, all that's left to do is gather the debris and pour it in. It's not like I can do that without going near the thing or looking at it. I grab my rake and start scooping the debris towards the pit. John just watches as I scoop the debris in. At one glance, I can tell it's definitely gotten deeper than when I last saw it, much deeper. Leaves and debris cascade down the side of it, falling to the bottom. As much as I'm putting in, it should be filling up at least a little. I leave to gather another pile of debris. When I return, it's already deeper. Every time I leave to gather another pile, it's deeper as soon as I come back. "Well, that's all of it," I say, as I scoop in the last rake full of debris. The debris falls in, and I can hardly even see the bottom of the pit anymore. "That can't be all of it," John says. "There has to be more. It needs more." John jerks his head side to side, looking over the yard desperately. His eyes focus on something in the yard. He runs over to it and picks it up. It's a pair of loppers. I'd left them sitting in the lawn when I started raking. He darts to the closest shrub, loppers in hand, and starts cutting the branches back, all the way to the trunk. "You're going to kill it." "They won't grow back if you cut all the branches off," I say, not that he'll even listen to me. "I don't care about the plants. Just help me cut these down." Branches and holly leaves scrape against his arms as he frantically cuts into them. He either doesn't notice or doesn't care as his arms start dripping with blood. "If you're going to kill them anyways, there's an easier way to do it," I try to tell him. He doesn't even register that I'm talking to him. I leave him be and head back to the van to pull out a handsaw. I return to John, brandishing the saw. "John," I shout, "this will be faster." He still doesn't hear me. Crouching down, I start sawing away at the base of the trunk. It doesn't take long until the whole shrub topples over. As it crashes to the ground, John looks over it. "Tell me you have another saw," he says. "Sorry," I reply, "this is the only one I have." "That's okay," he nods. "We can make this work. You just keep cutting these down. I'll throw M in. Easy peasy." John grabs the fallen holly and drags it towards the pit. I move on to the next one. If he had initially told me that he wanted these cut down, I wouldn't have had to spend all afternoon trimming them. Oh well, it's too late now. I continue toppling over the shrubs. John continues dragging them to the pit and throwing them in. It shouldn't take much longer. Soon enough, there won't be anything left to cut down. Then I can finally leave this place and get away from John and the pit. The last holly topples over. John runs over to collect it. I follow him as he drags it to the pit. He throws it in. We watch as it falls down the pit, crashing against the walls on the way down until it's out of view. The bottom of the pit can't even be seen anymore. There might not even be a bottom to it anymore. No longer is it just a pit, it's a hole in the earth. "How far down do you think it goes?" I ask. "I don't know," he says. "All the way. There's nothing left to throw in," I say. John looks at me. His hair is greasy. He's drenched in sweat and dripping blood. He looks crazy. "No, there's something else," he says. "Look, John, whatever else you can throw in there, it won't do any good. It's just going to keep getting deeper and deeper." If anything, it seems to get worse the more stuff you throw in it. Then we'll just have to take everything back out of it. Then it will go back to normal. Then it will go away. That's not what I'm saying at all. I really don't think that's how it works. He steps towards me. You have to help me pull everything out of it. I step back. I'm not going in there. You have to, he says, taking another step towards me. You can't just leave the job unfinished. I take another step back. No, I really should get going. You really should call someone about this pit. I don't know who, but this is definitely out of my area of expertise. I can't help with this. Yes, you can, he says, lunging at me. I jump back, but not far enough. He catches me, both arms around my legs. He pulls, and I fall straight on my back. He's dragging me towards it. I'm clawing at the ground, struggling to hang on, but it's no use. He's pulling me closer. We're close to the edge. I reach for anything I can grab. My hand lands on something as he's pulling me. John, I shout. He turns to look back at me. Go in yourself, I shout, swinging the rake at him, hitting him right in the face. The impact makes him lose his grip on me. He falls backward into the pit. I watch as he tumbles down the side of it, falling further and further down into the abyss, until he can't be seen any longer. I stare into the dark chasm for a while. I couldn't tell you how long I stood there. Eventually, I manage to snap back to my senses and turn away from it. I gather my tools and head back to my van. I throw the tools in the back and get in the driver's seat. As I'm driving home, I think of John and his pit. Then a single thought crosses my mind. How the hell am I supposed to get paid for this?